Hello, Vanna here, and I'm speaking today by His grace we can draw near. And so God says, follow me. So when we follow in His footsteps, we can be comforted. When we follow Him to show forth His love and compassion, He wants our protection, not persecution. Matthew 16:24-26. He said, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. I was taken into a vision several years ago where I was in a wheat field, and the Lord was in front of me. I was in back, and I saw the back of Him dressed in biblical clothes that they wore in those days, and to either side of me were two men at an angle on my left and on my right, and we were walking and following Jesus. And so I was thinking in my mind, in my heart, if only He would turn around and I could see what Jesus looked like in those days. And I wish He would just turn around for a couple minutes and just not move a muscle, but just let me look at Him intently. And at that moment He turned around. And it just, stunned me. Even though I knew He knows the thoughts and intents of our hearts, just experiencing it, I stood motionless as He did. And He just stared ahead, so I could see He was commanding, massively commanding in stature, but just as much in humility. And He was willing to heed the prayer of my heart. And the fact that He heard it and responded so quickly, just amazing. I was stunned. I immediately felt He did that for me. My heart felt prayer, and I looked at Him. Then at that moment, I wished I had asked Him to smile, because it penetrated. He didn't condemn in any way, but He was just so powerful, and He discerned my intentions and complied. I should have asked for that smile, but He chose to heed. And so He was just as humble as could be, and yet so powerful that it penetrated my entire being, that I wanted to be pleasing to Him. When you follow in His footsteps, you hear His still small voice. You heal in His presence, and you don't point the finger to accuse, but walk in forgiveness. I'm not saying you don't get angry. The Bible says, let the sun not go down on your wrath. So sometimes you have a righteous anger, but don't live in anger and hostility. He asks, do you follow where I lead? And He's a shield to those who call on Him. And when we follow, there is blessing and transition. There's blessing of the women breast, to be nourished and consoled, an increase of blessings and good health and wholeness, prosperity, which is all part of His plan for His children, your kneading bowl, blessed coming in and going out. Deuteronomy 28:4-12. So we can trust Him. He brings freedom and liberty, and we can walk in virtue. Where He leads, we can follow. He means no harm to us. He goes before us to show the way, to transition us for the future. What about our purse? When we give to kingdom causes, we store our treasure in heaven, our foundation, and we will not lack any good thing. He will keep him in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on Him. And He says, I will go before you. He can make the crooked path straight and grant favor. So tremble and fear His name. Not a fear where you're shaking, but it's a famine of sin. It's a godly respect. Do you contemplate His person, to have reverence and awe for Him? And He asks, what do you want to be whole? Let your request be known, and follow Him and look to Him, and make your request of avail. And so Philippians 2:12 tells us to work out our salvation in fear and trembling, and by His grace draw near. And so we can be governed by the respect that we hold for Him, serious in our mindset, so we may have His impartation of grace. And with grace we can do all things. Death has lost its sting. And He's coming on the morrow, and He wants us equipped in His word and mandate to be truthful and hopeful and guided. 1 Corinthians 15:55. The Bible says, O death, where is your sting? O grave, where is your victory? And I caution He's coming back soon, with 10,000s of His saints to execute the ungodly at the second final coming. But He came to set you free, and by His grace draw near. He's so lovely to behold, the person of God, so powerful yet so humble, and he will uphold you in his everlasting arms. So God bless you today, and stand in faith. Bye-bye.